Hey there guys, Alex and Connor here from UK Game Bureau. Today we're going to be reviewing UFC 3, the beta.
Yeah, this recently just came out. A few select people managed to get hold of it. Luckily, we were one of them.
Yeah, so we've managed to get a copy of the game. Connor has spent the most time on this game so far. I've only had a few rounds here and there getting my ass absolutely whooped. But Connor, how many hours do you think you've put into it now?
Maybe like 7, 8. I'd say.
That's pretty good. That's good. It's, considering it's only been out a little while and you've put a good amount of time into it.
Yeah, put a good amount of time into it. Got the hang of it. It's a lot different from last year, but you won't struggle to get into it, I don't think.
Yeah, so hopefully we're just going to be here talking about how it's a little bit different from last year's one, how it's different from the other games in the past, and what makes it good and what makes it bad. So we're going to look at the menu first. So obviously this is the beta, so we don't have all of the features available right now. We do have fight modes, the Ultimate Team menu, and then pre-orders and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you keep going along as well, you can see the other modes. So obviously you'd have ranked championships there, you'd have live events, which is when there's an actual UFC event going on. It has all the fights there and you can predict them. It has practice mode, extras, skill challenges, and the fighter net, which is just like your stats in-game.
Yeah, so they brought in some really good things in this. The live event stuff I really like. I didn't spend a lot of time on UFC 2, to be honest, so I'm not sure what's kind of carried over from previous versions, but what's new on this page that wasn't on last one, if anything?
It is all the same, but
obviously,
yeah, it's going to be a bit different each time.
Yeah,
obviously, the live events, as they got later on, with different characters not being in the game, obviously a lot of the fights you couldn't do on the old game.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, the whole roster is going to be redone, so you're going to have a lot more fights to do on the live events.
Yeah, so speaking of the roster, so far, obviously, being on the beta, we don't have the whole roster of the UFC right now.
No, we just have a few lightweight fighters, but there are a few new additions.
Yeah, so let's have a little look through who we have in the game thus far. So I'll just select here. So obviously we've got Conor McGregor, the title boy, on the front page of the game cover.
Yeah, 95 striking, look at that.
Yeah, it's got big ratings. How do you think the ratings have improved like drastically from last year's or the previous version?
What I say last time is obviously his striking is still very high, but his grappling and his stamina are a bit lower, which I think is more realistic.
So you think they've made the sort of the statistics more real across the board, do you think?
Yeah, whereas if you look at Conor McGregor in real life, he's very good at striking, but his grappling is definitely his weak area.
Yeah.
Whereas before he'd be sort of invincible everywhere. Whereas if you look at Tony Ferguson on the other side, he's very well rounded everywhere. He has a lot of health and a lot of stamina, which is also very true to life.
Cool, okay, so we've got Conor, we've got Kevin Lee also.
Yep, new addition to the game, wasn't in there last year.
Ah, cool, okay. La Quinta, Tony Ferguson, looking good. I mean, all the models as well for the players, I think, look really, really good.
Yeah, especially Conor McGregor. Last year, I didn't think he looked that great.
I agree. The last version. When was the last version out? Was it a few years back now? Or was it
early 2016, I want to say.
Oh, was it? Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was not too long ago then. I thought it was a lot longer ago than that.
A few years.
Yeah, so Tony Ferguson. Yeah, Conor McGregor, you're right. Conor McGregor looked really weird in the last
Nate
version.
Diaz didn't look great either. Nate Diaz, which you'll see in a minute, he looks a lot better as well.
He looks a load better. Okay, Paul Felder, Evan Dunham. There you go, Nate Diaz there.
Yeah, his face, I think, just looks a lot better, a lot truer to life.
Mark Diakese, nice to see him in the game as well.
Yeah, again, another new addition. Glad to see Mark in here. 90 striking as well. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a good striking, considering he's just coming off a loss, and I guess this beta would have been released to the most current sort of statistics in the UFC. He's just come off a decision loss, and that's good to see him with such high striking.
Yeah, I agree. Like 90 striking, I think is... Yeah, it's equal to Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, the UFC know, they know their fighters and they're not sort of downgrading them depending on their current record. They know what he's capable of and how unique and different his striking is. It's cool to see that represented.
When you see him in the game as well, he does play very true to life with a lot of flashy kicks and punches.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you got Bernard Darsh, Michael Chiesa, Edson Barboza. Yeah, so it's just a big collection of lightweights at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of top-ranked guys, man. A few other guys like Ally Quinta. He is quite highly ranked. Mark Diakese, Beneil Dariush, some of the lower end guys.
Yeah, it's good to see they kind of mixed it up a little bit, I guess. They want to show everyone's style and all what people can do. I guess they got the submission artists and things in there. Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis. I'm not even going to try and...
Nurmagomedov.
Ah, there we go. Could be... And then back to Conor. So yeah, it's a good selection of lightweights. So we're going to throw into a game, I think. I'm going to be playing whilst Connor sort of chats more about the game and its pros and cons as such. I think we'll do a Connor and Tony.
Okay.
We'll hopefully do
what I will say is with here, if you scroll down, you can actually see you've got different options for what colours you fight in this year. Whereas before it was just black and grey.
Okay.
Now you have obviously champion ones at all times, and you have your unique country ones, like Conor McGregor has for black and green. As you'll see with Tony, I think he has blue. So yeah, it's just another new customisation option.
Well, there it is, yeah. So he has blue. Okay, I didn't realise that. I didn't realise they were the country shorts. That's
yeah,
cool.
I think
That's nice.
Habib has, I think he has red ones. Yeah. Edson has yellow. Just a bit different, a bit more colourful than the constant black and white or white and black of last year.
Each fighter have their own championship shorts as well?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. Obviously, it's just for beta for now.
Okay.
But on the beta, yeah, everyone has champion shorts.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's throw into a game with this. So, anything different in this this selection here? We have the simple submission mode.
Yeah, that's new as well. Basically, instead of gate submissions where you have to push up, push down, or block it off, it's literally just tapping a button. So some people might find that easier. Some people might find it a bit harder if you can't tap the button really quickly.
Yeah, that's a big problem for me as well. When I play, I really struggle with the submission, the ground game stuff. It doesn't make any sense to me. So simple submission is something that I'd probably look into if I was playing myself, I think.
Yeah, I think if you're just picking up the game for the first time or you haven't had a lot of experience with the other game, if you start to use a simple submission just to learn, and then you can obviously go on to the other one, I think that will help a lot of people.
So we're going to obviously fight Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson. Two guys with two very different styles in life. And do you think they've represented the styles well in the beta, or at least the game of this?
100%. In EA Sports UFC 2, a lot of the character models felt very similar, and there was no real... They didn't feel unique at all. Whereas in this game, if you're playing Conor McGregor, you feel like you're Conor McGregor. If you're facing Habib, he's going to keep going for takedowns. Tony Ferguson is going to mix up his grappling and striking. He's got the Imanari role. Yeah, 100%. The people feel like they actually are now instead of just a skin on a created character.
That was a big issue we had with the last one. Was it did feel like one move set with a different appearance was all you were playing with.
Yeah, like you'd fight Habib, he would never go for a takedown. Barboza wouldn't really throw leg kicks. Whereas in this game, it's the complete opposite. If you're facing Barboza, you need to check those leg kicks. Habib, you're going to be constantly defending takedowns.
And we have a couple of simulations that we put up on our channel as well that kind of show how the AI fight when they're fighting each other, and they do fight.
Yeah, they do. We've got Conor and Nate Diaz for Trilogy. See how that one goes. We had Barboza and Habib, I believe, which is completely two contrasting styles, and upcoming for UFC 219.
Yeah, and they fight how they do in real life. That's cool because obviously you try and fight how these guys fight when you're playing as them, but it's interesting to see that the AI also knows how to fight exactly how their characters, how their real life fighters fight. So
yeah, I think that's a really good addition. I believe in UFC Undisputed 3 back in the day, they had quite a similar thing like that, and then they'd have an AI fighting style. It would just be sort of generic boxer, kickboxer, clinch grappler, something like that. So if you're facing an AI character, it would just fight in that sort of style, which I believe is something they may have implemented here, and we may see in the created character options when obviously the full game's released.
So we're going to launch into this game now. I'll skip through a couple of these cutscenes. Just wanted to show you a little bit of how it looks. Yeah, so it's all looking good from here on. So talk to us a little bit about how the controls are different. So what people can expect if they're jumping in from a previous. Are you going to jump in against me? Is that what you're doing?
No. I'm just looking at another controller so I can actually...
Oh, okay, cool, okay.
Because like I said, the controls are a lot different this year. First of all, the left stick now is just complete movement. It does nothing else, you just move with it. So obviously you move it to the right, you move to the right, left to the left, etc. Wow, you're ready. Going for it. Some of the striking is very similar in that X is jab and Y is your cross if you're in a orthodox position. If you're in southpaw, it's the opposite. The L1 or LB if you're on Xbox, same thing.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
Is your power modifier. So if you throw L1 and X, for example, LB and X, don't know why I'm doing that, is your throw a hook. If you hold RT, that's now the block, and RT and LT is low block. If you press for low block exactly the time a kick's thrown at you, you'll catch the kick and you can then strike from it. The kicks is the same as before, B and A, obviously for left kick and right kick, depending on what stance you're in. Yeah, you can see they caught the kick, and obviously managed to get a punch off. Uppercuts are completely different this year, in that you need to hold Y and B at the same time for a right uppercut, or X and A for a left uppercut. So that's sort of your main striking controls. If you want to throw a head kick, you need to hold the LB and A, or LB and B. Obviously, again, for left or right. if you use the right stick, you can use that to sway. So if you move the right stick back, you'll sway. If you want to defend a takedown, which I probably should have said earlier, you hold the block button and you push down on the right stick. Obviously,
getting it in my ass. Well, this is what I didn't even expect to be taken. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Since we've been playing so much, I forgot that I could be taken down.
I'll show you a bit more of a grappling in a moment, but for now we'll just stick to striking this match. But as you can see, you can have some other kicks, some capoeira kicks. There's a lot of buttons you have to press.
Yeah, capoeira's really, like, I found in the last game, I played a lot as Bruce Lee and as Conor McGregor, but simply because their capoeira and their crazy kicks did nuts damage were so easy to use, but they've kind of hidden them in buttons this time.
And what I will say is I think they actually do even more damage this year because of how hard they are to pull off. And if you're wondering how to do these, all I would say is if you press start at any time, there is a whole control list, there's a moveset list. So
yeah,
if you want to know how to
spend a bit of time in that menu.
Yeah, I'd recommend getting your basics down, getting your jabs and hooks down, and then, looking at 1 or 2 combinations, 1 or 2 strikes you can throw and finding ways to get that in.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
So, also in a lot of sports games, what happens a lot is the players kind of glitch out a little bit. Have you found that's happened at all in the beta?
It's happened once or twice, but if you look at EA Sports UFC 2, it happened quite a lot in the actual full release game. For example, you'd leg kick someone and they'd fly up in the air and you'd end up in mount somehow. That kind of stuff does not happen. You do go down from leg kicks, but you don't fly about in the air. So, yeah, it's happened once or twice, but being a beta, I really don't think you can obviously judge that too much.
So how is, because obviously online is a big feature of these games.
Yeah.
Online also features in the beta. They've got the online sort of unlocked as a limited version. How are you finding the online game and how it's sort of changed from the previous iteration?
Well, what I would say, both along with actually fighting the AI, is you have to fight a lot more realistic this year. In the last game, you'd see people just grab people in the clinch and just throw constant knees and elbows so you couldn't defend them. That can still happen, but it's a lot harder to get in those positions. Also, in the previous game, you'd find a lot of people just throwing 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and strikes for body, and it'd be almost impossible to defend. This year, if someone does that, you can just duck down, hit them with an uppercut, and they're almost instantly rocked. So if you have people spamming you online, you really can punish them with just basic strikes this year, which I think is great, because online's been ruined for the last 2 years, in my opinion, because of people just cheesing their way through it.
Yeah, you're having a lot of issues with people playing as Nate Diaz early on, right? Before you sort of figured that little scheme of yours out.
Yeah, basically you can still spam people with 1-2 strikes, came with a jab and then a cross, but it's very easy to defend once you know how. Which, like I said, if you duck down and hit him with an uppercut, or if you hit him with something big, or if you just constantly back up, you can beat these spammers easily. Like, the first few times you face a spammer, you might lose. But as soon as you work out what they're doing, it's very easy to find a way to counter it. Whereas in previous games, just because of how the mechanics of the game worked, you really couldn't do that.
Oh my god. Oh, I almost got Tony Ferguson just then.
You need to look out for Emanari roll.
No. Okay, get up. Yeah, I'm not doing too well. I'm not doing too great. It's on easy as well. I lowered the difficulty to the easiest. And
That's
I'm still getting whooped.
Oh, there you go. That's for me as well. There seems to be a lot more rocks this year.
You think? There's more of that,
I think so.
Is there more rocks but less instant KOs, do you think?
Yeah, instant KOs can still happen. Don't worry about that. I've had 20-second KOs on this game. But I'd say there's a lot more.
The Aldo KOs, isn't it?
Yeah, that can still happen, don't worry. You just have to get a perfect placement, normally on a counter. But I feel like, because strikes are a lot heavier this year, they have a lot more stopping power. And obviously, if you catch someone as they're coming in, it's going to do a lot more damage. And because of that, because people are still getting used to the gameplay, I think there's going to be a lot of rocks, especially when this game first comes out.
Oh, I almost got Tony Ferguson again. Every time you finish a sentence, I've got to almost get Tony
Should
Ferguson.
I just keep talking so it doesn't happen?
Yeah, you might need to.
Again, we've gone down. Another thing is the knockdowns this year are completely different. In EA Sports UFC 2, if you get knocked down, there are 2 different options. One, you either go right down to your back, or 2, you're just in this state where you're going to be finished if a person jumps on you. That's a lot different this year. As far as I can see, there's 4 different types of ways you can go down. And I think it's dependent on stamina and how much head health you have. So if you have a lot of head health, obviously if you get knocked down, it's not going to do as much damage. But if you're nearly completely empty on your head health, you're going to go down.
So head health is almost key.
And body health,
I guess that
and
makes
leg
sense.
health.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense in real life. You've been hitting the head too much. You are, I did that kick again.
Ooh.
I'm going to go beaten, I think, here.
Just survive to the end of the round. You've got 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's true. Just
Keep your head blocked.
Pull the blocks.
But yeah, the knockdowns. So one type of knockdown that happens is you get hit cleanly and your person will fall down to his back and instantly get up. You don't have to press any button yourself, he'll just get up. The other type is you'll get hit, you'll go down, and you'll stay on the ground, but you're not rocked. You just go to the ground and you can defend yourself straight away. Another time is when you go down and you can't defend yourself straight away, which means that your opponent can run in and start doing some ground and pound. And just like last year, you have to hold the right stick in a direction to try and recover. It can happen, it can't happen sometimes. It really depends on, obviously, how much head health you have and how much stamina you have. And the last time is obviously just the knockout. So you get hit once, you're out cold, fight's over.
So there's no strategies for the instant KO in these cases, then? It really does kind of depend on a number of circumstances, I guess. You can't really preach the 20-second KO in any way. There's no way to teach that.
No, there's no way to constantly be getting these 20-second KOs. All I'd say is if you find an overly aggressive opponent, look for opportunities to counter, because that's when you're most likely to get a knockdown or a knockout. Like I said, you can get a knockout with the first time. As you can see there, as he went down, he wasn't able to defend himself straight away. So if Tony jumped on him there, he could have potentially finished the fight.
Yeah, he would have finished me right off.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. He kind of goes hands flat, almost when you see fighters in the actual UFC, they go down there, then they recover quickly. It was sort of similar to that.
Yeah, sort of like with a flash knockdown in actual fighting. When you go down, you're out of it for a second. And if someone jumps on you, they can finish the fight. Compared to other times where you're knocked down, it's just because it was a good strike, but you're still fully in control.
Right, I see, okay. I'm going to get beaten up, I'm going to get finished by Tony Ferguson soon. I feel it coming.
Yeah, but as you can see, your stamina is quite low. Your head health isn't too bad at the moment, but compared to Tony's, it's a lot lower down.
Oh, I need to stop doing this. Break.
The clinch is almost the same as last year, unfortunately. I was hoping it'd be a bit different, but it's very similar in how you do takedowns and how strikes are thrown. Strikes do still interrupt transitions as well, which is something I'm hoping to see maybe fixed before the full game gets released.
Oh God, I need to get out of this.
Ugh, you are in trouble.
Got that Conor McGregor round 10 stanky leg.
There you go.
I've rocked him a couple of times, but he's just not going down. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
One
As
punch.
you can see, he caught the leg, caught him with the left, and Conor McGregor goes out. Can't defend himself because of how low his head health was and how low his stamina was.
John Anik called it for me. Absolutely beaten. That is John Anik, isn't it?
Yeah, it's John Anik. John Anik is in the game this time.
How are the commentators in the beta so far? Joe Rogan, John Anik?
John Anik is good because obviously all his stuff has been recorded recently. Whereas with Joe Rogan, I feel like a lot of it's been sort of copy and pasted from the previous game.
Oh, you're hearing the similar lines, are you?
Yeah, there's a few similar lines, and if you actually really listen to the audio quality, it sounds a bit different.
Sounds old. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think there are some new lines by Rogan because it's not all the same. But there's like one line where he's laughing at something. It sounds very similar to the last game. Might be a bit of a conspiracy theory.
Be interested to do a comparison between the two.
Yeah.
Try and record all of Rogan's lines and pair them back to back with this.
Yeah, I'm sure we could easily do that.
Yeah, we can maybe think about doing that. Okay, so we won't make me watch any more of me getting absolutely beaten up. So to sort of wrap this up, obviously this is a beta version of the game. It's early stages. It's not coming out until February, I believe, 2018.
Yeah, I think it's 1st of February, or if you get the Champion Edition, you get it a few days early, so the end of January.
Yeah, so we're looking end of January, first couple of months into 2018 we're going to see this game. So what would you like to see changed from this beta into the full game? Obviously we're going to have the addition of new rosters and things like that, but on a sort of technical level, what would you like to see changed?
Yeah, obviously like we saw, I think in the first round maybe, there are still a few little glitches if people get too close. It doesn't happen too often, but that'll be things that are easily ironed out. I'd like to see him maybe change the clinch a bit, because when you're trying to transition, just one simple light punch can stop your transition. I don't think that should happen. If someone hits you with a big knee, that should stop it, but just like a little jab to the body or something shouldn't stop you from transitioning. The ground game, I feel like the submissions are a lot harder this year. I do like that, but I feel like they might have to make it a little bit easier, because you can tap people out in the first round straight away when they're on full stamina. Other than that,
we also noted that when they were, we saw some ground and pound stuff, the gloves connecting to the head didn't look too great. It was kind of looking like he was more being pushed by the fist more than being actually impacted.
Yeah, when you get knocked down and you're in the state where you can't defend yourself straight away and someone's ground and pounding you, it doesn't look like the strikes are really connecting with you too much. It's more like they're just hitting the air just above your head and the person's head isn't reacting. Like I said, I think that should be an easy fix for them as well. Just add a bit more damage to it maybe. But yeah, other than that, I think it's a very good beta. It's looking to be a very good game.
Yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be probably the best version yet. From what I've played of it and what I've played of the previous ones, it's definitely looking like it's going to be the best one yet. And they've ironed out a lot of problems that the older ones probably had. So it's a lot of hope for it so far, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt, I'd already say it feels, on the feet especially, a lot better than the previous 2 games. Whereas before it sort of felt like more of a simulation kind of game. Like you're playing just a fighting game with UFC characters. Whereas this time it actually feels like an MMA game, is the best word I'd use to describe that.
It'd be nice to see updates as well in the full game where we can add in superstars, I'm talking WWE here, add in fighters into the roster as we play through the game. It'd be nice to see that instead of having to wait sort of for a new game to come out before people like Francis Ngannou can be added in, you know?
Yeah, they did do that in the previous games.
They added some people in.
Yeah, I think they did it quite a lot actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just every few months or so, they'd add some new people in. Which I'd imagine they'd keep up the same with this game.
Yeah, fingers crossed, because it's got a lot of potential, so it'd be good to... And especially if they keep the same sort of motion capture and the same style with people like Nate Diaz, where they actually look and fight exactly how Nate Diaz looks and fights. If they keep that going and they don't just put default sort of moves to them, that'd be
I'm
nice.
sure some of the people in the game won't be completely like that, some of the lower end people.
Yeah.
But all your high level people, so like an Overeem, a John Jones, a Daniel Cormier... Jose Aldo, I'd imagine they'd all fight very similar to how they are in real life, because everyone on the beta fights very similar to their actual style.
Do you think we'll see Brock Lesnar in the full game?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's very possible. He wasn't in the last game, but he was in the first UFC game.
He wasn't in the last one at all?
No, he wasn't in the last one, but you could download him in the very first EA UFC game.
But Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson both were, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So I'd imagine there will be some sort of unlockable like that this year as well.
And we know we're going to get Bruce Lee as well, because he's on one of the pictures in the title menu. We've seen the picture of Bruce Lee, isn't there? So...
Yeah, I think like last year he'll be an unlockable character. Joe Rogan was an unlockable character last year.
Yeah, he was a pre-order bonus, I think, wasn't he?
No, you had to put in a special code
Oh,
for
he was
him.
a code, was he?
Yeah,
Okay.
sort of like the old school cheat codes where you use them to unlock someone.
That's a good Joe Rogan thing to have.
Yeah.
So just on the final note, something that you've pointed out a couple of times to me, this fight stats comes up after you finish a match, and it's something that's a little bit different, a little bit maybe neater than before.
Yeah. So obviously in the years before, you've had this fight stat menu, and if you press RB once, it goes round by round. If you just do that for me.
There you go.
So obviously you can look at it round by round. But this time, if you go all the way to the end, they have something new. They have the judges scoring. So obviously it shows you up until the round where the fight was finished. It shows you how the judges were scoring it. So as you can see here, we've actually got a bit of a mixed...
Yeah, round
one.
Yeah, Judge 2.
Yeah, Judge 2 has obviously scored one round 10-8 for Tony Ferguson. I'd imagine probably the second one, because you were getting...
I did get beaten up.
Yeah, you were getting beat up
the
a
whole
bit.
time. I rocked him like 2 or 3 times, though, I think.
Yeah, you held your own. But obviously you can see the stamina and health there. Look at McGregor's head health. It was never going to end well for him.
Yeah, I got beaten up. I got beaten up big time.
But yeah, obviously you're playing it. What are you thinking of it? First
Yeah,
impressions?
no, I like it a lot. It's going to take a lot for me to actually want to buy it and to want to play it regularly, because... I mean, I'm not opposed to like a hard challenge and a challenging game, but I find I've just not... I don't know, it's like in my brain it's not wired for me to play this properly. And so because of that, I just can't get my head around it for whatever reason. I'd like to sit down and put time into it, but with all things, if you're losing constantly, it's not actually a fun experience after a while.
Yeah.
So.
What I would say is if you manage to get the controls down for EA Sports UFC 2, it'll take a bit of a change in this game, but you'll be able to pick it up quite quickly, I'd say.
Yeah, so hopefully I can do that. I will put some more time into it, I think. I don't know if I'll buy it right away, but I will look into buying it sort of post-launch, maybe a few months in, perhaps.
Yeah.
Play it with you a lot, I guess.
Yeah, if you put a bit of time into it, you'll get the controls down. As soon as you realise what you're doing, as with any game, you'll eventually pick it up.
Yeah, great. Well, that's our review sort of wrapped up for the UFC 3 beta. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, and if you want to see more on our channel, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be making videos, I'm sure, on this game as it comes out, and many other games as well. Yeah, cool. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.